Hey guys, in this video we're going to be discussing why the bathroom is laid out the way it is. So let's go ahead and start with a typical configuration of a bathroom, which is a sink, toilet, and the tub being placed all along this wall. So this becomes your plumbing wall, and majority of the time this is going to be a 2x6 wall, and we'll explain why since it already has all plumbing running through it. So let's start with the bathtub. The bathtub is what sets the width of your bathroom. You're literally looking at a dimension of 5 feet that goes all the way across. And let's go ahead and pull that dimension string. So that's the 5-foot clear that you have for your bathtub. Now looking at the bathtub itself, your bathtub is pretty much manufactured in a way where it's just this L piece and is being supported by 2x4 frames or 2x4 members that support it all the way around. Now, if you look at it being adhered or attached to the wall, it is attached to the wall in this manner, where you have drywall being attached and then all of this built up on top of the bathtub. Where it meets stud, you typically don't have anything running behind it. And you're pretty much building up from a waterproof or a mold resistant gypsum board at minimum to dense glass or any better type of sheething, and then it builds up with a Schluter system, or it just builds up with an undercoat and then tiles itself. Going back to the bathroom configuration, you will always find around 2 foot 10 inches of waterproofing that goes all the way around, and you always have these sealed so there's not much mold buildup in your typical bathroom. Now, coming back to the AutoCAD file, the width of your bathtub is going to be 2 foot 6 inches, and that is also standard, and that's clear. You have 1/2 inch of gypsum board that builds up on each side, and this will make your wall configuration 4.5 inches. So you have 3.5 inches for the stud, and then you have 1/2 inch placed on top of that, which makes your wall 4.5 inches, and then you have a 2 foot 6 tub that sits right there. The dimension from the actual tub to the center of the toilet, 18 inches. The reason it is 18 inches is because regardless of which side that the plumbing goes to, you are looking at a place where you can have a worker reach to the back and create and attach the cold water line to your water tank. So you have 1 foot 6 on each side. And again, these are the bare minimum. And then this, from here, you have the sink. And the sink itself is actually dimensioned to the outside wall. And the reason I like to dimension the center of the sink to the outside wall to be exactly 2 feet, because that's what the code minimum requirement is for a GFCI or ground fault circuit interrupter. So you have a 2 foot distance to the sink to the wall. Now, when it comes to the electrical of this particular bathroom, we're going to go ahead and look at this plan. Now, this plan calls for 3 switches, and this is a 2 foot by 8 foot door. It should be a 2 foot by 8 foot door. It's just too small to go in with a 2 foot door. So you would have a 2 foot 8 door at minimum to allow the toilet to come in, and you'll have a switch that controls the light. That's what the LT stands for. Then you have a switch that controls, well, the switch controls all of these lights. And then you have a switch that controls the heating and the ventilation. Ventilation being the exhaust. So that's how your wiring would be done. Now, as far as clearances are concerned, if I am to look at this particular configuration, the clearance for this bathroom is 3 feet, which is the minimum requirement for circulation. Also makes this door to be exactly 2 foot 8 inches. And that's the minimum door requirement to allow to get a toilet in. Now, like I mentioned, you have a bathroom that's 5 feet wide. And when it comes to the length of the bathroom, the interior clear dimension from inside to inside is 8 foot 7.5 inches. Now, if you take away the drywall, the framing width of this is going to be 8 feet by 8.5 inches. We're taking away 1/2 inch of drywall on each side, which will make this frame to frame, grow to 8 foot, 8.5 inches. Well, that's the bathroom configuration. Now, when it comes to the toilet, your toilet have a 4-inch vent that runs up the back. The vent that I'm referencing is this vent that goes up the wall and behind the actual wall itself. It allows you to ventilate the air all the way up. Now, inside your toilet, you have a P-trap. That toilet P-trap pretty much allows the water to continuously stay in your toilet to allow for airs to not come back up the pipe and come up the toilet to actually fumigate your bathroom. So thereby it creates a watertight seal. And if you see bubbles coming up through your sewage, that means there's a high pressure sewage line, which means it's causing the gas to come back up, and it's literally gonna smell like sewage in that bathroom. Going back to this plumbing diagram, so the toilet has a P-trap, then your sink on the bottom has a P-trap, which also holds water and prevents gases from coming back up, so as well as your tub. Now, as the air travels up, it will hit this P-trap and then it'll come up this vent, going all the way to the top of the roof and venting out to the top of the roof. Going back to our AutoCAD drawing, as you can see, this is how a typical restroom is laid out. Now, if you were to ask me, hey, is it possible for me to have a shower and then a bathtub and then you have a vanity in front and then there's a standing toilet and in a room by itself, and you circulate yourself through this space to get to the closet in the back, by all means, this is completely possible. Lastly, I want to cover half baths. So half baths work by having a 54-inch clearance in front of your toilet. So if I was to DI, it would be 4 foot 6 inches or 54 inches, and then you would provide a clearance of about 3 feet, and then you will have a 2 foot for your vanity. And that would be a type of a half bath or a powder room that would allow you to have entry on either side of the bathroom. Or you can have a half bath that is configured with the 54 inches given to the front, provided that this minimum space is 3 feet. And you can even have some in different configuration. You have plenty of example of bathrooms that have been created, and there's multiple configurations for restrooms that you can exploit, and at the same time those will exceed the absolute minimum standards. So yes, those are the absolute minimum standard to have a secondary restroom, or you can even have that as a primary restroom. But ultimately, your restroom design is dictated by those minimums and those code restrictions. With that said, now you're ready to design your own bathroom. Please like, subscribe, and comment below.
Follow for more content.